Hi there, Chandra Easton here from StarAstrologyHealing.com, speaking to you about my travels through Australia in my series of travel videos on this ancient land. I'm speaking to you today about a visit to the Tunnel Creek cave complex in the West Kimberleys. This is Bunaba country. I've been in the Kimberleys here for about a week now, I think. There's lots of videos. You can just search my website for Footsteps of Light or Kimberley's, Top End or Central Australia. Okay, so you can see from the map here, probably not quite in the middle. You'll see Winjana Gorge is there. The previous talk was on Winjana Gorge, and then you'll see the Tunnel Creek National Park and Tunnel Creek. It's sort of north and a little bit east of Fitzroy Crossing, about 180k from Derby, I think. Pretty terrible road. As I was getting closer, I don't know, about 10k away, I passed the sign that said I was in the Devonian Reef Conservation Park, and the Devonian Reef is a coral reef, 360 million years old. It's a limestone region of the Napier Range, and the Tunnel Creek is a water-worn tunnel that's carved through this fossilised barrier reef. Yes, it's of international geological significance. Because of tectonic activity, the land's been upthrust, and Tunnel Creek once flowed across a ravine in the top of the Napier Range. And then the ground was much higher than it is today, and it's really quite high already, so it's clearly been worn down. Water seepage gradually enlarged fractures in the limestone, and the creek adopted an underground course. The old course is a shallow valley on top of the range, and of course this is the geological explanation, but the indigenous explanation is that this is part of the movement of the rainbow serpent creating all the landforms. It's a 750 metre long tunnel, pretty dark. The only way you can get through the tunnel is with a torch, because I think there's only one place where there's been some sort of a cave in and the light comes through. Otherwise you've got light at the beginning of the tunnel, light at the end of the tunnel, and of course during the dry season, and I'm here in July, it's possible to walk from one entrance to the other. It's up to 20 metres high and 20 metres wide, and contains permanent pools of fresh water, and I might add freshwater crocodiles. We saw the freshwater crocodiles with their eyes watching us, the tourists, as we were walking through. And I'll just show you this little video here now. I'll leave the volume up so you can hear the echoey. Oh, this one's not got it. Beg your pardon. Beg your pardon. This video here is of the outside as we're approaching the entrance to the cave. You can see how impressive it is, the landform there. Yes, of course this region's also known as the place where Jundamara, one of the warriors from the Bunaba people, had his last stand with the constabulary, and he was murdered here, and he galvanised the Bunaba people in the frontier wars here over a 10-year period, and there's been a movie made about it, and so they refer to this as Jundamara's hideaway, where the Aboriginal freedom fighter Jundamara and the other Bunaba warriors evaded police and others for nearly 3 years. They'd been tracked from Derby and they'd gone from Winjana. They ended up here at Tunnel Creek hiding out, and of course this cave system, you could get lost in there. It'd be very easy to hide, but it's kind of spooky, dark, scary. And at the tunnel exit, this is where he was shot and killed. It's a long story. I won't go into it here. From the Aboriginal point of view, he's a freedom fighter. From the constabulary's point of view, he was murderer. Anyway, he armed his people, and I encourage you to search ABC, their program Away. There's a fabulous interview there with the producer of the documentary. Yes, and I haven't been able to watch the documentary thus far, but I noticed there's also a book by Paul Kelly talking about him as an Australian hero and a warrior, which of course he was. So I entered into the tunnel, and of course to get into the tunnel you literally have to climb over some fairly large limestone boulders, as you can see from these couple of images here. And then one finds oneself in a sort of an open cavern with a very, very high roof. I was looking at this image here. It's sort of, I know it's a stalactite. It looked a little bit like a Buddha to me. And I'd been told that there was some rock art, and I did discover it very, very high up on the roof, the ceiling of the this cavern. And I wish I knew the significance. I was told that it was Wandjina art. This is two figurines, one upside down and one upright. They're not the traditional Wandjina. It was very hard to get a clear picture because it was such a long way away, right up on the roof. Yes, and now I think I'll show you this video, and I'll leave the sound on so you can hear the echoey noise. It's light coming in through the roof somewhere. Not very deep here, probably a couple of feet in depth. Those bright lights you can see are torches people are carrying further on the tunnel. Yes, and the light as it's coming in through the ceiling and playing all around this cavern is quite spectacular. Very beautiful. Beautiful patterns that were being created. Yeah. For most of the time in the early part of the tunnel, you're just sort of walking through ankle deep or knee deep water, or walking next to the water. Came upon somewhere where the roof had sort of, well, part of the tunnel roof had fallen away, and you could see the tree roots down. This is a good image that shows you the size of the tunnel and how dark it is, you know. The only reason there's a bit of light here, I think, is because of the hole in the roof there. You can see there are stalactites and stalagmites. Well, I'm not sure what's what. Here's something coming from the roof. And there's the people making their way through. And as I said, the first few pools, they're just shallow and knee-deep. And then, of course, I've stopped filming because I had to swim, carrying the torch and the camera above my head, probably for half a kilometre. Well, no, the swimming part was very brief, 100 metres maybe, but the remainder of the complex was another half a kilometre until eventually I could see the end of the tunnel. And I'd been told to look for some cave art on the wall outside the tunnel, and hunted around and found the place where it was, and lo and behold, it's exactly the same imagery as what I'd seen in the tunnel at the entrance in the cavern. This sort of downward pointing figurine looks like a bird, I suppose, flying down to the earth, and then next to it is a a figurine. I guess it looks like a human, much smaller, reaching up towards the heavens. I don't know the meaning. I wish I did. I was told it was from genre art, but I really have no idea. This next image here, I can't tell whether this is some sort of recent drawing or whether it's something faded. It certainly looked like there was some inscriptions there, but what it was I couldn't make out. And again, this is all in the same cave under the overhanging ledge. There's sort of beautiful colours, and I wondered whether there'd been some art here that has since faded away, because of course the art needs to be rejuvenated and repainted by the people in order to maintain its potency and power. In the creek there was this little sand goanna, I guess, who was hunting his breakfast. I don't have a photograph of the creek to show you. The water didn't look very lovely. The water was very stagnant, no doubt full of crocodiles. And heading back on the return journey, you can see this is the exit point of the tunnel. Quite foreboding, isn't it? A bit of an image there of myself and more of these stalactites, I suppose that's what they are, from the roof. Yes, and this intriguing image, as I came back to the place where there was the hole in the tunnel and I took a photograph, I got quite a fright, because in the camera, I had an old-fashioned camera, and within the camera lens I thought I saw a serpent. And then when I had a look afterwards, I realised it. You can even see my shadow there. To me it looks like the head of a serpent. And this next image, I didn't take it. I found it on the internet. But it's been taken from exactly the same place. It's larger and more vibrant in colour, but again, it looks very serpentine to me. Yeah, it's a very interesting place, Tunnel Creek. I felt very emotionally overwhelmed when I arrived there. Just, I think, by the sense of potency. You know, it's a place to do with power and the law, and clearly, well, Jundamara lost his life there, but did hide there for 3 years, and who would know that one could walk through the bottom of this escarpment, which is an old 360 million year old coral reef, and come out the other side. Who would know? Greater wonders in heaven and earth than we could imagine. Anyway, this has been Chandra from StarAstrologyHealing.com. Search my website if you'd like to see any more of the travel videos. Bye for now.